Hello, my name's Melanie Cook and I'm Deputy Head Teacher at the school. I'd like to welcome you to a short presentation for the parents of students in Year 10, a presentation on how to support your child as they move from Year 10 into Year 11 and through the final year of their education before sitting their GCSE exams next summer. The final year before the GCSE exams has really already started for students in Year 10, and you can see from the slide that there are lots of events that take place between June of this year and obviously June and July of next year. Students in Year 10 are about to sit Year 10 mock exams, and this is a really important opportunity for students to practice what it's like to sit mock exams, to practice the preparation and the revision for those mock exams, as well as seeing what progress they're making in their subjects. When we come back in September, very shortly, there will be a focus on destinations post-16 for students. And this is where students will need to think about whether they want to apply for a place in our sixth form, a place at college, or to apply for an apprenticeship. In October, we will have a sixth form and post-16 evening where we can explain to students and parents in a lot more detail exactly how that process works. In November and December time, there will be another set of mock exams for students, and it will also be the deadline for applications for sixth form. When we come back in the new year in January, there will be interviews for students who have applied for sixth form places, and there will also be an opportunity for parents to speak to subject teachers in our parents' evening. We know that Year 11 is a really stressful time for students, and we know that students work very, very hard. And so we also want to make sure that there are lots of positives, lots of praise, and lots of incentives. One of those incentives will start in February, and this is an opportunity for students to earn an off-site pass, allowing them, if they have parental permission, to leave the school site at lunchtime. In March, we have another set of mock exams. These are for core subjects only, and this is the final opportunity for students to really focus on their revision and also their skills in exams to make sure that they are ready for the real exams, which start in May. Once we move into May, we then have lots and lots of things happening, including leavers assemblies and actually the start of the real exams. Students will start their exam leave, and this is really the time when the pressure is high for students. And so we want to make sure that in the months leading up to May, we are helping students to prepare and practice and be as ready for these exams as possible. The exam period runs through May and June, and then in July there is an opportunity for students to find out a little bit more about life in sixth form by coming to our sixth form induction week, and also the very important event of prom, which is something that students look forward to all year and is a really good opportunity to celebrate and reward themselves for all of their hard work. The preparation for next summer's exams begins in Year 10, and the mock exams which students are just about to sit are a vital part of that preparation. Students have already been given an exam timetable, and hopefully you've had a chance as a family to look at that together. Students will be sitting their exams in full GCSE exam conditions, and it's really important that they treat them as a practice and take them seriously. Students should be revising at home, and if students have any questions about how to prepare for their subjects, they should speak to their subject teachers. In order to prepare for their mock exams, students need to be revising at home. Revision is about recalling key information which has been learnt in class in school so that students can quickly retrieve that information when they need it in exams depending on the questions that they're asked. Therefore, practicing that retrieval, practicing the act of retrieving information is a really important part of revision. In order to carry out successful revision, it's worth considering how memory works. We have a working memory and a long-term memory, as you'll see from the diagram. Students need to make sure as much information as possible is in their long-term memory, so that in an exam situation they can recall that information quickly when they need it. To make sure that information goes from our working memory to our long-term memory, we have to practice retrieving it. We have to practice learning that information. And so it's really important that revision for students is about retrieving that key information, learning that information, and making sure that that information is sticking in their memory, ready for them to use it in an exam situation. In order to be successful in their exams, students need to be able to think successfully. They need to be able to get information from the environment, which means understanding the exam question. They need to have information in their long-term memory that they can recall quickly, and procedures, in other words, the way they answer the question, that information needs to be in their long-term memory as well. Students can't just rely on their working memory, and that's why revision and retrieval practice is so important. In lessons in school, teachers will spend lots of time with students practicing retrieval, and will use that phrase retrieval practice regularly. We want to make sure that that retrieval of information is as easy as possible for students and routine. We want to make sure that students who find it difficult are practicing retrieval in school to help them remove the barriers that they might feel when they think to themselves, I can't do this. It's really important that students, when they're practicing retrieval, see that they are able to be successful, because often students know far more than they think they do, and retrieval practice is a really good way to show that. So when we talk about retrieval practice in lessons, what do we mean? Well, you can see on the screen that there are a number of ways that retrieval practice would be carried out in lessons. Some of these phrases might be familiar and some less so, but essentially all of these things are about retrieving information that students are going to need. For example, a brain dump simply means students writing down everything that they can remember about a particular topic. And it might be that the first time a student does this, it's quite difficult. It might be that they don't recall very much information. But students continuing to do this on a regular basis will see that more information will become available to them through their revision. In school, we might, at the start of lessons, carry out quizzes. We might do quick exercises where we use mini whiteboards, where we ask students questions and get them to write down answers very quickly to see who is retaining the information, retrieving the information, and who isn't. So in lessons, there are lots of activities that teachers will carry out with students to practice retrieval of information. A key part of revision at home is retrieval practice, and a number of the activities which students carry out in lessons will work equally well at home. Students could create flashcards where on a particular topic they take a piece of paper or card, they write a question on one side and an answer on the back. The act of doing that, the act of creating those flashcards, is about retrieval. But then as a parent, you can get involved by using the flashcards to test your child and see what they can remember, asking the question on one side and checking it with the answer on the back. I mentioned brain dumps earlier, and actually students carrying this out as part of their revision would be a really useful exercise, writing down everything that they can remember on a topic and then seeing what information is not readily available to them and so they need to revise. Verbalising content is really important for students to help them make sure that the information goes into their long-term memory, and that's just about talking about what they're learning. Having a conversation about a topic with your child may be a key part of them helping them to remember that information. For subjects like English, it's really important that students know quotes from plays and books and poems that they're studying, and actually the repetition of saying those quotations out loud is really important to help students remember them. In other subjects, it might be more appropriate to look at diagrams and practice labelling those using keywords, practicing the recall of that information from long-term memory. It is, of course, really important to recognise that Year 11 and the exams at the end of Year 11 are a very stressful time for students. And so it is important that both at home and at school, we support our young people to be successful and to cope with the demands of exams. On the screen here, you'll see some suggestions for how at home you might go about supporting your child during these stressful times that they have ahead of them. As well as the support you offer at home, we also offer a great deal of support in school, and you'll see on the screen some of the ways in which we are supporting your child at the moment and will support them over the year ahead. In form time each morning from 8:30 till 9 o'clock, when your child is in form time, they have a character curriculum which helps to develop key skills and also focus on study skills. So it's really important that students are in school on time, in their form time, and they are able to access the study skills tuition that they are being offered. There's lots of support and guidance from form tutors and from class teachers, and I would certainly say that if as a parent you have any questions about a particular subject, please contact your child's class teacher. If you have a question or concerns about a number of subjects, please contact your child's form tutor, who will be happy to help. There will be, and there are already, a number of subjects who are offering after-school tuition, and we would always encourage students to access those. Mr. Islam, who's the head of year, and Ms. Higgins, who is the support worker for Year 11, are always available both for yourselves as parents and also for students. If students would like to talk to Mr. Islam or Ms. Higgins, then they can go to the pastoral office at break time, lunchtime, after school, or by an appointment that they've arranged with Mr. Islam or Ms. Higgins. We also have access to services for young people who will run one-to-one appointments with students to help them make decisions about post-16 destinations. And those appointments have started already and will continue throughout the next 12 months. I hope you have found this to be a useful presentation and would encourage you to get in touch if you require any further information. We look forward to working in partnership with you and your child over the coming year to ensure that your child fulfills their potential at the end of Year 11.